Good morning, dear students. Welcome back after the weekend. Hope you all had a good one. Today, by end of the day, I'll be posting your homework marks in the groups. So just have a look. For your information, homework assessment will be done for 10 marks. All the homeworks by end of the month. So this accounts chapter, I'm taking it for 5 marks. All right, so by month end of July we'll be finishing the depreciation chapter is already done, so you will be given mark for that. And then again commerce will be there, that I'll be taking 5 marks again. One of the chapters from commerce, that is chapter number 2, will finish. And single entry system in accounts I'll pick up, and that also will be there for the marking in homework. So homework altogether, these 3 chapters I'll take for 15 marks, children, and attendance it will be there for 5 marks. So 20 marks you are done here. 30 marks I'll be conducting some surprise test, or it could be an oral, or looking at your seminars. Again, seminars will be 5 marks. So see to it that each and every one of you come forward, pick a topic and give a seminar on that. So that is about our assessment for UT children. It is going to be for 50 marks, or I'll make it for 100 marks, because seminars are also there. So we'll go by like that. To start with, today we'll be starting the second chapter from commerce, that is domestic and international trade. In your previous year, you all have learnt what is trade. Trade is basically buying and selling of goods and services. It could be between 2 people, it could be between 2 business organizations, or it could be between 2 countries. So here in this chapter, domestic and international trade, you will be learning what are different kinds of trade. So trades again are divided into domestic and international, and further in domestic trade you will be seeing who are the traders here. You will be learning about the wholesalers and retailers in detail. What are the services a wholesaler provides to his manufacturer, and what are the services a wholesaler provides to the retailers. Then you will be seeing different types of wholesalers. Regarding retailers, you will again see different types on a small scale and large scale. Then what are the services of a retailer you will be learning. And after we finish this domestic trade, we will go to the international trade. In international trade, you will be learning about its importance. Then what are the advantages and disadvantages of international trade, what are the different types of international trade, that is export, import and interport. Then you will be seeing the distinction between the domestic trade and international trade. And finally, by the end, you will be learning about SEZs, that is special economic zones, also the special economic zones in our district, Andhra Pradesh. So that is about this chapter, children, what you will be taking with you from domestic and international trade. So once again, trade is all about buying and selling of goods and services. It could be between 2 people or 2 organizations, or it could be between 2 countries. So here we are going to see what are the different kinds of trade. It is domestic trade and international trade. Domestic trade means the trade, the buying and selling which happens within the boundaries of a country. That is called as domestic trade. And when the trade is done, when this buying and selling is done between 2 countries or more than 2 countries, we call it as international trade. So domestic trade, why domestic trade is good to be followed, or you say what is the importance of domestic trade? First and foremost, within the boundaries of the country it is done, so it is not as complicated as any international trade would be. And also the transportation, we do it through roadways and railways, the domestic trade. And one very good advantage of using domestic trade is there won't be any complications of using foreign currency, like in international trade, as we use the currency which is there in the homeland at that moment. And the next advantage to tell about the domestic trade, or let us say the internal trade or home trade, it is that this trade involves the transactions between the producers, the middlemen and the consumers. Children, what is the link of distribution? How is the finished product from the manufacturer reaches to the customer is the manufacturer or the producer, they prepare the product. From them in bulk, the wholesaler purchases and he sells in small quantities to the retailers, and from the retailers, or you say the shopkeepers, they are one of the retailers, it reaches to the consumers, the customers, the consumer who is actually using the product. So that is one advantage, that here all the people, whoever is involved, they are from that particular country. So lot of employment opportunities are provided. And to tell about the one last advantage as per your textbook is the wide range of goods are available here. The choice is available when we do domestic trade, whereas the choice of goods is restricted, or you say it is comparatively less in international trade when we compare with our domestic trade. So those were the features of domestic trade, children. And to see the types of domestic trade, the traders who do the domestic trade are divided into two here as per our textbook. We have wholesalers and retailers. Now, who is wholesaler? Wholesaler means the person, or the person who buys, or the institution or the organization who buys the goods in bulk, in large quantities from the producers. Those are called as wholesalers, and this trade is known as wholesale trade. Now what do? They sell these goods, either they can sell directly to the consumers, or they sell in quantities to various retailers who further sell it to the consumers. So here if you check very carefully, as the trade is said, it is about selling and buying. Wholesaler is buying from the manufacturer and he is selling to the retailers, or he is selling to the consumers. So that is about wholesalers, children. Next we are going to see what are the services that are provided by a wholesaler towards the manufacturer, and after that you will be seeing the services that are provided towards the retailer. So begin with, we'll start with services a wholesaler provides for the manufacturer. How wholesaler is useful to the manufacturer is what you will be learning under this topic. Before we begin with the topic, I want all of you to have a look here. Children, we have started with second chapter, domestic and international trade. Trade is divided into domestic and international. Domestic, you have learned the different kinds of traders, wholesalers and retailers. So how the distribution chain, if you see, manufacturer or the producer, from them the buyer is wholesaler here and seller is manufacturer. So wholesaler is buying from producer and is selling to the retailer, and retailers, they are buying from the wholesaler and they are selling to the consumers. So this is how the trade is happening between all these organizations or people. You say the buying and selling is going on. From producer, wholesaler is buying, from wholesaler, retailer is buying, and from retailer, consumer is buying. Producer is the one who is making the product, and consumer is the one who is using the product. Further in the chapter, in international trade, you will be learning about import, export and export, children. Now to begin with the topic, services of a wholesaler. There are different services which are rendered by a wholesaler. It could be the services to the manufacturers, or it could be the services to the retailers. First we will see the services to the manufacturers. What is it that a wholesaler does for the manufacturer is what you will be learning here. The first point to tell about is wholesaler, he helps the manufacturer to concentrate upon his manufacturing operations. Means the manufacturer can concentrate upon the working of his preparation of the product, not thinking much about its sales. Okay, so that is how the wholesaler is helping the manufacturer. Manufacturer doesn't have to reach the consumers. It could be the wholesalers who will buy from manufacturer. Why manufacturer is preparing the product? For sales. So when he is selling it, already they are bought by the wholesaler. So that is how, instead of thinking much about selling activities, he can concentrate on his manufacturing operation, on the preparation of the product. The second service which a wholesaler provides to the manufacturer is he is buying in large quantity. So he is enabling the manufacturer to get the benefits of large scale production. Because he is buying in large quantities, the manufacturer can produce his goods on a large scale. So the second point, it speaks about that a manufacturer, he buys products on a large quantity from the manufacturers. The wholesaler buys large quantities from the manufacturers. So manufacturers, they don't have to go to the retailers and to the consumers. And how wholesaler is also helping the manufacturer is he is taking the orders from the retailer and he is supplying the stock to the retailers which he is buying in bulk from the manufacturers. So retailers also, they don't have to go to the manufacturer. So for them also the cost of transportation has reduced. They will directly approach the wholesaler and buy the products from them. So the third point, it says that the wholesaler collects orders from a large number of retailers. So manufacturer doesn't have to he won't have to be concerned about how to get the retailers, because wholesaler is already having the retailers as a part of his work, as a part of his business. So large number of retailers are being gathered by the wholesalers, who will actually sell the product to the consumers, who is finally going to use the item or the product or the service. Next, what wholesalers they do is they stock the product of seasonal nature. They stock the product of seasonal nature and they sell them when the season actually arrives, when the demand for the product actually arrives. And here the manufacturer doesn't have to stop his work, stop his production, because the item is, for example, if I am manufacturing an umbrella, because it is not rainy season, I don't have to stop it, because my wholesalers, they will buy and they'll stock those products, and when actually the season comes, they will release them into the market and the sales of my product will be done. At the same time, I don't have to stop the production of my umbrellas ever. They'll keep on going. It is now the wholesaler, he is stocking them in his godowns and getting ready for the sales when actual demand rises. So that is about fourth point, children. And the fifth point is about the wholesaler, he helps the manufacturer to regulate his production in accordance with the changing requirements of the market. So whatever the requirements in the market are, he keeps on updating the manufacturer, and accordingly the manufacturer brings the change in his production activity. For example, if there is some change in the taste of the consumer of that particular market, that suggestion can be given by a wholesaler to the manufacturer, and manufacturer, if he thinks that is a good suggestion to go by, he would bring that change in his working style. Then the sixth point is about a wholesaler, he enables the manufacturer to make better use of his capital, rather than going for large stocks, transporting them from one place to another for sales, and all these charges are also levied for the manufacturer, and he can use his capital in a better way for his production, better use of his capital. So the job of middleman is not there for the manufacturer. He is selling it to wholesaler. He is done. Now the next point we have is wholesaler helps in price stabilization. Price stabilization means suddenly increasing the price of a product. No such manipulation can be done. with prices, neither the prices decrease. What a wholesaler actually does is he stocks the product, and whenever there is peak demand for the product, there is demand for the product, he releases that product into the market. So during the slack season, the products are stored, the products are stocked, and that is how the price stabilization can be done. And a slack season, to tell about slack season, it is said that in our India, slack season months are from May to September. Why it is said as slack season? Because it is the sowing season. The farmers, as we all know, 60% of the people in India, they are still occupied in farming, and when it is sowing season for them, so the demand for product from their side is also, when 60% of the population is busy in their work, the demand for the products that comes down, most of the products. So that is why it is said as slack season. Slack season is basically the season where the demand for products is less. So this price stabilization, it helps in that way. During the slack season, the items can be stocked, and when there is demand for them, it could be sold in the market. It shouldn't happen that a product is in demand and the production is less and the items are less, but the demand is more. At that time, what happens? The sellers, they sell those products for a higher price. So to stabilize that price of the product, this is what is done by a wholesaler for the manufacturer. So these were the services, children, of a wholesaler to the manufacturer. Tell about the services towards the retailers by the manufacturers. Let us see. Services to the retailers. So how is a manufacturer useful to the retailers? The first point is, a retailer, they need not carry stock of large varieties. They need not carry stock of large varieties, because wholesaler is available, and whenever they want the product, they can take it from the wholesaler, whichever variety they want. So they don't have to carry big stocks, bulk stocks with them. So this is how their working capital, they don't have to worry about amount, the finance. Whenever it is available, they can buy the product from the wholesaler. And the next point is, the retailer doesn't have to worry about placing the orders, because they get the items more quickly from a wholesaler. If they place an order to the manufacturer, that's going to take more time, so they don't have to place orders. And the next point would be, like I said, the supplies are done more quickly if they take it from the manufacturer rather than going to a supplies are more quickly from a wholesaler rather than going to a manufacturer. So that is why most of the wholesalers, what they do is they be in good terms with their retailers, and likewise the retailers, they be in good terms with their wholesalers, and vice versa. The next point is, it says that a wholesaler, it provides a greater opportunity for the retailers to order a number of products. So number of products can be ordered by a retailer to the wholesaler, any different kinds of products. So what happens? Single consignment will be coming. Like this, the transportation cost and the packaging cost can be saved. So that is what the fourth point as per your textbook tells about. And also the line of products, the various kinds of products which a wholesaler is selling, they will have good knowledge about that, and the same knowledge they pass on to their retailers, and retailers, they can use this knowledge in their business, in their working. And the next one is, a wholesaler, he helps the retailers to take advantages whenever the favorable fluctuations in price they arise in the market. A wholesaler, they guide their retailers, they can invest their amount into the products at that time. Like wholesalers, they'll have an idea when the rate of the products might come down, and accordingly they can guide the retailers. And to tell about the seventh point, we have that the capital, a retailer can work with lesser amount of capital. How? the wholesalers will help them in doing that by providing them credit, okay, or any kind of financial assistance. So that is about a lesser amount of capital, because also they don't have to spend much on, because they're not buying the goods on a large scale. The amount they're going to invest, the capital is also going to be less, and the working capital which they are putting in their day-to-day activity, there they can take the financial assistance from the wholesaler, or sometimes they give items to the retailers on credit. So that is how the working capital also they can do it with a smaller amount. So these were the services that a wholesaler he provides to the retailers, children. Hope you all understood. In case if you haven't understood, just leave a message. I'll explain it in the next class. Thank you for listening to the class, dear students. Have a great day.